Hello and welcome to House News. In this episode, we present you the latest information coming from the House of Representatives of Indonesia. And now let's see the headlines for today. The Indonesia-Argentina Parliamentary Friendship Group urges the government to enhance communication and trade collaboration with Argentina, especially in optimizing export and import in various strategic sectors. The chair of BKSAP of the House condemned Israel's attack in northern Gaza that damaged the Indonesian hospital. The incident is a serious breach of humanitarian principles. The Indonesia-Italy Parliamentary Friendship Group is committed to fostering dialogue and collaboration to strengthen the ties between the two countries. To stimulate public economic activity, the government has made several initiatives, including allocating over 13 trillion rupiah to subsidize electricity tariff. In the middle of Lake Melintang, Kalimantan, stands a village that offers a unique natural beauty, Muara Enggelam. Unlike other villages, this one is completely built floating on the water. The Indonesia-Argentina Parliamentary Friendship Group received a visit from the Argentine delegation. They highlighted the importance of strengthening bilateral relations to face global economic and trade challenges.
Chairpersons of the Indonesia-Argentina Parliamentary Friendship Group, Martin Manurung, stated, Indonesia and Argentina share strong similarities in the agricultural sectors. Argentina in particular has a strong advantage in livestock productions. Martin added both countries currently face challenges in global trade conditions.
Saya rasa ada satu tantangan bersama antara Indonesia dan Argentina terkait dengan kondisi perdagangan global saat ini. Indonesia dan Argentina itu sebenarnya punya banyak sekali kesamaan, kemiripan. Kedua negara ini sangat kental ya untuk pertanian, jadi agriculture. Dan Argentina juga punya keunggulan misalnya di bidang peternakan. Dengan adanya dinamika perdagangan global ini sekarang, justru ini membuka peluang untuk Indonesia dan Argentina semakin erat hubungan perdagangannya. Nah, itu yang tadi kami bicarakan, dan dengan pemerintahan yang baru sekarang di bawah Pak Prabowo, di mana beliau sudah mengatakan juga untuk meningkatkan hubungan perdagangan dan meniadakan hambatan-hambatan. Jadi saya pikir ini satu awal yang baik kita untuk mempercepat.
Likewise, the Argentine delegation is optimistic about the future of Indonesia-Argentina relations. They hope the ongoing cooperations between the two countries would lead to stronger economic and trade ties. Samuel and Edo, TVA Parliament Report.
BKSAP of the House strongly condemned Israel's attack on the Indonesian hospital in northern Gaza. Israel's action targeting civilian facilities raises serious concerns under international law.
Chairpersons of BKSAP of the House Mardani Ali Serari affirmed his support for Palestinian independence and strongly condemned Israel's genocidal actions and severe human rights violations. He demands the Indonesian government to take immediate steps toward realizing a two-state solution that has been promoted by Presiden Prabowo Subianto.
Betul-betul tindakan biadab dan tidak bisa dibiarkan. Israel terus melakukan genosida, menangkap Greta Thunberg dan lain-lain dan segala macamnya. Kita menyerukan, sebagaimana Presiden Prabowo sampaikan, segera wujudkan solusi dua negara, ya, two-state solution, segera wujudkan kemerdekaan Palestina. Jangan sampai kondisi sekarang ini berlarut-larut menghancurkan seluruh sendi kehidupan hukum internasional. Belum lagi korban di Gaza, di Palestina, yang terus menjadi perhatian kita bersama. Membebaskan Palestina dari penjajahan Israel, dari kezaliman Israel, dan DPR beserta pemerintah dan masyarakat akan bahu-membahu terus menyuarakan kemerdekaan Palestina.
Furthermore, the Indonesian House of Representatives has declared its commitment to support all actions and movements for the freedom of Palestine from Israeli occupations and oppressions. Bondan Endomi, TVA Parliament Report.
BKSAP received a courtesy visit from the Italian ambassador to Indonesia. The meeting discussed strengthening interparliamentary cooperation, economic trade relations, education, and culture exchange.
Vice Chairperson of BKSAP of the House Bramantio Suwondo mentioned Italy is a potential partner in strengthening cooperations in education through students' exchange programs and scholarships. During the meeting, both sides also highlighted the promotions of Indonesian culture as a key focus, particularly through culinary arts and traditional dance.
Khususnya ada beberapa isu yang ingin kami sampaikan adalah penguatan kultur dan juga pendidikan. Harapannya bisa diteruskan kepada pemerintahan Italia sehingga adanya terjadi pertukaran pelajar dan juga adanya pertukaran beasiswa di antara dua negara ini. Selanjutnya yang kedua adalah kita ingin menguatkan kultur. Tadi disampaikan bahwa sebenarnya kita sudah banyak mengenal kultur Italia, tapi di sisi lain kita juga ingin menguatkan kultur Indonesia dengan berbagai macam makanannya, berbagai macam seni tarinya, dari yang tradisional maupun juga sampai ke yang kontemporer. Ingin memperkuat hubungan antara musisi dari Italia dan musisi di Indonesia sehingga kedua belah negara bisa lebih mengenal kultur satu sama lain dan pada akhirnya mendorong pendekatan lebih dekat lagi antara masyarakat di Italia dan masyarakat Indonesia.
Furthermore, Bramantio added the uncertain global economic conditions present an opportunity for Indonesia and Italy to formulate new cooperation strategies. Increased cooperation could boost trade surplus as well as facilitate technology and industrial knowledge transfer between the two countries. Adila and Samuel, TVR Parliament Report.
After the break, we bring you more updates from Commission 11 of the House. Stay tuned to House News. Commission 11 believe government intervention to stimulate public demand are only effective in the short term. Therefore, the government is urged to focus on strengthening the core aspects of the national economy to achieve sustainable and inclusive economic growth.
Member of Commission 11 of the House Martin Manurung emphasized the government must establish a supportive ecosystem for industry and streamline industrial regulations to enhance efficiency and ensure the availability of raw materials. In addition, he urged the government to manage Danantara in a proportional manner. Danantara investment should not only be focused on increasing added value in the mining sectors, but also aim to create more employment opportunities.
Agar apa? Agar kita jangan semata-mata selalu ketika perekonomian itu agak sedikit kurang baik gitu ya, apalagi dinamika global seperti sekarang, kita harus mainnya di sisi permintaan terus. Nah itu sisi penawarannya itu harus dibereskan menurut saya. Nah, dari mulai penciptaan ekosistem, lalu kemudian Danantara yang cukup besar ini harus bisa dibagi ya, bukan hanya untuk menciptakan nilai tambah tapi juga job creation. Dan saya pikir juga perlu dari sisi regulasi ya, perindustrian kita itu juga perlu ditata.
Furthermore, Martin Manurung highlighted Presiden Prabowo Subianto's policy on the domestic component level should not be limited to restricting imports. It also needs to be implemented alongside efforts to develop and strengthen domestic supply chains. From Denpasar, Bali, Adila Febianto, TVR Parliament reports.
Amid rapid developments in defense technology, the Ad Hoc Committee for the Draft Bill on Airspace Management emphasized the state's role in airspace governance. Threats to sovereignty, such as drone attacks, must also be anticipated.
Member of Commission 1 as well as Vice Chairpersons of the Ad Hoc Committee for the Airspace Management Bill, Amelia Anggraini stated, the House has received input from the public and academics regarding defense and commercial aspects to protect flight safety and national sovereignty, while also increasing revenue from these sectors. She pointed out environmental factors must be carefully considered in airport management to support sustainability and public well-being. The bill will introduce the eco-airport concept, focusing on reducing pollutions and noise levels that may disturb the local communities.
Penting juga mengintegrasikan jadi kebijakan-kebijakan atau policy selama ini antara aspek komersial, kemudian aspek pertahanan dan juga aspek keselamatan penerbangan. Jadi masukan-masukan tadi sangat penting ya, menjadi catatan kami untuk memperkaya dalam pembahasan DIM-DIM ini ya, termasuk juga tadi bagaimana terkait dengan penyelidikan asing gitu terhadap ruang angkasa kita.
Meanwhile, Professor at Airport Engineering at Hasanuddin University, Sakti Adisasmita welcomed the draft of Airspace Management Bill. He hoped the bill will regulate airspace matter and also address the implementations of the open sky policy. Helmi Darmawan, TVA Parlemen reports.
To protect consumers' right to comfort, safety, and security, Commission 6 is committed to strengthening consumer protection and balancing the interests of consumers and businesses, as emphasized in the revised Consumer Protection Law.
Member of Commission 6 of the House Gede Sumarjaya Linggih explained with the rapid changes of the digital era, issues related to consumer rights and protections have become more diverse and challenging. This makes it necessary to revise the existing consumer protection law to address current issues concerning the growing number of fraud cases in online commerce. The academic draft for the revisions of the consumer protection law will involve various parties, including the government, expert, and consumer protection agencies.
Sekarang ini kita mau membalancekan atau mau mesetarakan antara kepentingan konsumen dan kepentingan produsen, baik itu produsen produk maupun jasa. Perlindungan ini untuk menjaga konsumen itu tetap mendapatkan haknya, begitu juga ketika hak mereka terpenuhi, mereka merasa puas, maka produsen juga akan semakin berdaya. Perlindungan ini perlu sekarang mempunyai perbaikan karena perkembangan zaman saat ini sangat-sangat mendunia dan gampang sekali produk dari luar masuk ke Indonesia maupun dari Indonesia ke luar negeri.
Furthermore, Gede Sumarjaya hope the draft bill on consumer protections will introduce regulation addressing all consumer complaints that have been unresolved and ensure legal protections for those who suffer losses. Rifki Makdudi, TVA Parlemen reports.
We still have more interesting information when we return only on House News. Did you know there's a village with no roads and no land? It's called Muara Enggelam, a unique tourist destination in East Kalimantan that is completely surrounded by water. Every building is built right on top of it.
Muara Enggelam is a unique and captivating village located in East Kalimantan, right above Lake Melintang. This village is unique as it has no land at all. All the homes, walkways, and daily activities happen on top of the lake. Around 747 people call Muara Enggelam home, living in harmony with nature every day. To get from one spot to another, villagers use small motorboats called ketinting. The residents make a living mainly from fishing, but some also tend to floating farms or create beautiful handicrafts. Visitors can experience a rare adventure by exploring the village by boat, seeing colorful floating homes, floating farms, and see friendly locals going about their daily lives. Crowned as a water tourism village, Muara Enggelam captivates not only with its beautiful natural surroundings, but also with the friendliness of its people, who welcome visitors with open arms. The village is now putting together an ambitious roadmap to develop its tourism sectors by utilizing the natural resources it already has. As part of this effort, the village is turning old trees into homestays, providing travelers with a peaceful and unique place to stay.
The Indonesian Energy and Mineral Resources Ministry has officially designed the Dieng Plateau as a national geopark, a special status that celebrates its natural beauty, rich geological heritage, and unique biodiversity.
Spread across Wonosobo and Banjarnegara regencies, Dieng Plateau boasts a total of 40 heritage sites. These include 23 geological sites such as active craters, hot springs, and rock formations that tell the story of the Earth's dynamic past. The area is also home to 8 biodiversity hotspots that feature unique plants and animals found only in this highland environment. Meanwhile, 9 cultural heritage sites reflect the long and fascinating history, including traditional rituals and festivals that have been preserved for generations. Dieng Plateau is a highland area located in central Java, Indonesia, lying at around 2,000 meters above sea level. Known for its misty valleys, volcanic craters, and ancient temples, Dieng is often referred to as the land above the clouds. The name Dieng comes from the old Javanese words. Di means place and Hyang means gods. This place means abode of the gods. The plateau is also home to the oldest Hindu temple complex in Java and has long been a spiritual site. A geopark is a sustainable development model that combines 3 types of diversity: geological, biological, and cultural. Its management aims to develop the local economy based on protecting the 3 types of diversity found in the area. Dieng's new status as a national geopark represents more than a title. It's a commitment to preserving its extraordinary natural and cultural heritage while uplifting the local economy.
A new architectural wonder now rises in Quiet Village in the Swiss Alps. The tallest 3D printed building in the world is established, blending digital design, sustainable materials, and cultural heritage.
Tower Alpha, which means White Tower. It is a project intended to be a driving force for revitalizations, inaugurated in the quiet Swiss village of Moulins, a town that blends into the mountainous landscape and is threatened by depopulations with only 11 inhabitants. The tower is an example of how digital construction techniques can be used to create load-bearing structures without formwork. This technique allows the tower to be dismantled and rebuilt elsewhere after 5 years. Rising almost 30 meters, the tower consists of 32 white concrete columns that climb up over 4 stories tall. A special concrete mix was developed for the constructions. It needed to be soft enough to bond, yet hardening quickly enough to support subsequent layers. The construction process for the towers employs a robotic technique, reducing the amount of material used, addressing sustainability concerns in the building industry. This method also allows for more complex design, including detailed surfaces and hollow features which are difficult to achieve with traditional construction techniques. Tower Alpha is designed to serve multiple purposes, including hosting art installations, music, and theater performances within its structures. At its highest point, a vaulted concert area will accommodate up to 45 people, providing views over the Julia Valley.
And that's House News for today. Thank you for watching everyone and have a good day.